Hello, and thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited you could be here. So today we have a really, really cool guest on that I think you're going to absolutely love. I mean, just his spirit, his attitude is something that I think you will find is contagious. He's actually from the Big Island out there in Hawaii, completely different time out there apparently than it is right here today. And what he does is he helps people really understand how to take the savings and equity and ideas and turn it into real income, basically investing in real estate. I mean, he's got a heck of a comeback story that you're absolutely going to love. And now he helps people really understand how they can especially invest into real estate in Hawaii. And you're going to be able to apply these lessons no matter where you are in the world where you're listening to this, but especially if you're really interested in investing out in the Hawaiian Islands. A lot of opportunities you've probably never even heard of before, but you're going to be able to learn today. So with us today is Kolaiah Fuzzy Jardine. Now, he's actually the co-founder of HUI Mastermind, where he empowers Native Hawaiians and local residents to basically build generational wealth, what's called the Pono Way, which is the right way, with integrity, with balance, and also community at the core. So actually, growing up with limited opportunities, he was actually determined to change his own personal story and discovered real estate investing as his path to freedom and ultimately his legacy. And through perseverance and purpose, he actually built a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio, including over 100 different affordable homes and a $6 million rental portfolio as well, becoming a leading voice in ethical investing across Hawaii. Now, his approach actually centers on using other people's money and time to actually make wealth building accessible for everyday people. And his signature HUI Framework simplifies complex real estate strategies, guiding aspiring investors to succeed in Hawaii's challenging market without compromising their value. And through the HUI Mastermind, he actually continues to inspire others to be able to reclaim ownership in their homeland and to be able to create sustainable wealth and live the Pono way. So, Fuzzy, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us
Hey,
today.
what's up, Ty? Thank you, mahalo for having me on. And what you do today will determine what you have tomorrow, right? The position you're in. So I'm super stoked to share my story with your audience, and hopefully my audience would love this podcast that we're doing. And yeah, aloha and mahalo.
Yeah, same. I love the attitude that you have out there. Your Hawaiians have like a coolest attitude. And I like how I asked you today, I'm like, you going to surf today? You're like, yeah. Like, that's
Yeah.
obviously what I'm going to do today is surf. I think it's cool. So, where'd you get the name Fuzzy from, out of curiosity?
Well, I don't know if you remember Yao Ming, the basketball player, and they would be saying Yao, Yao, Yao. But me and my dad or myself would be answering the phone. Hey, what's up, Fuzzy? How you doing, Fuzzy? I would be calling everybody Fuzzy, and it ended up sticking right back to me. So that's how I kind of got the name Fuzzy.
I
Yeah,
love
it
that.
backfired.
Now, you've had an interesting past, so I don't know how much of that you mind sharing, but I think it's really relative to people to know where you came from because not a lot of people come from where you do to where you are. So, and I like it too because nobody can make excuses when they know your story. So, can you mind sharing a little bit about kind of your past and your history?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised on the island of Honolulu in a little town called Waimanalo. And I lived with my grandparents and single mom. My grandparents had 8 kids, 4 boys, 4 girls. So it was a big family, a big ohana, living under one roof. And in Hawaii, it's like that because of it. The cost of living is so expensive. So I grew up on it was called leased land. And it was, my grandfather was a pig farmer, and then he also he was a blue collar worker as a painter and a sandblaster. So um, alcohol was always there, right? Partying in Hawaii, everybody parties for everything. You fall down, you party. You wake up, you party. It's just the lifestyle here. But then you choose, right, who you hang around with and what you do. We all got the same amount of time in our day, 24 hours, right? So my path, I chose to hang around the family members and then friends who were in that field. Yes, I was surfing from an early age, and my goal was to become a professional surfer. Eventually, made that happen, but that crowd that I was in with that surfing crowd and then my ohana was the drug world, right? So I ended up doing drugs, selling drugs, and ended up, eventually getting caught up, and I did some federal prison time. Now that made the difference of, okay, the two decisions I needed to make, right? When someone goes into prison, there's an 80% or almost 90% chance when they come out, they go back in. So I was on the fence of, okay, now when you go into prison, you have the opportunity to change your life, or you hang around with the people that can enhance the same thing that you were doing, because there's more connections in there, right? Coming out. So my decision was to change my life, because I realized that that's not the lifestyle I wanted. And what happened was, while I was there, I had a lot of time to read books. Robert Kiyosaki, Awakening what is that? Robert Kiyosaki books, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then inside there was also courses that you could take in there that that you could learn, right? Like, so there was this one guy named Joel who taught real estate, and that's kind of where I learned. That's where I learned a little bit about real estate in there before I came out, and kind of just got my mind opening on how you can invest in real estate, or house hack, right? You live in it for 2 years, fix it up, and then when you sell it, you don't have to pay taxes on the profits that you make. So like the 2 year house hack. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do that. Go outside when I get out, go, find a house, live in it, fix it up, and then flip it and keep, moving every 2 years. But realization when I came home, when you have a record, nobody wants to hire you, right? I came home, came out, and what happened was I went to go try to get a job. Went to all the car salesman jobs. Everybody slammed the door in my face. And, kind of got discouraged, but it was a blessing that one of my friends had a window cleaning company, got my first job. And in Hawaii, I started at $9 an hour. You can't make things happen with $9 an hour, right? So it was a blessing that my parents let me stay in their home for a little while to get myself back on my feet. Then I got my second job, which, Ty, you're gonna like. I was a surfing instructor in Waikiki, teaching people from all over the world how to surf, which was super fun. So that kind of put more income into my pocket. And then, I was also meeting a lot of people from all over the world, which was awesome. And then finally got my third job as a valet driver. So I had 3 jobs and I had no time, and I was tired and burnt. And I was thinking to myself, like, holy crap, this is what my parents are doing. My grandparents have been doing. And I'm going down that same path, and I don't want to do this. And while I was out, Ty, I was looking to find someone like local here in Hawaii to teach about real estate, and there was nothing. So what happened was, eventually I found my friend who was a pilot, and he said, bro, you should go get your pilot's license. So I was like, man, yeah, because they make pretty good money. So I ended up getting a loan while I was in the bank. I got it's called it was from First Hawaiian Bank, and it was the Oha Malama loan for Native Hawaiians. And I got the loan at $20,000 loan for 4% or something like that. And I leveraged that money because I never had the money to pay for education. So took that money and then, or got the funds, and then it was sitting in my bank account. I left the bank, and lo and behold, on the radio station, the commercial came on, and it said, hey, if you're from Hawaii, we're looking for a few people to be part of our team. We're from HGTV, it's Dan Murrow guys, right? Dan Murrow from Connecticut. We buy properties, we fix them up, and we flip them, and we do it with none of our own money. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is my ticket. This is it was a free event. So I went. And of course, what they said made sense, and I knew that was me. But I knew it was going to come at a cost, because no one comes here free and teaching all this education, just to give it to you. No ways. So they ended up selling a $197 event for 3 days to kind of break it down even more. And at that event is where they showed everything, and there was a surfer guy on stage, and I was like, oh my gosh. Same thing. Like, I seen me in the guy. And then I knew right then and there that Hawaii needed someone local, just like him, or me up there, just like him, being him, to teach others that it's possible, right? And that was the start of my journey. And then, where I'm at today, I've built over 150 plus brand new builds because of the education, turned my life around. I no longer associate with people who are in the drug world, or I don't even drink, and I'm just high off of life. I take care of my family, enjoy my life, and I got my time back, right? I use other people's money and other people's time from day one. I borrowed the money, I leveraged the money. And that's why I like what you do. You teach people how to use credit, leverage credit to be able to become successful and create wealth, which is huge. So that was kind of ballpark of my story. I did change my life because I knew if I was keep going down the path, I would be back in prison or either dead.
I love you sharing that. It means a lot. First of all, I wanted you to share so people can see your spirit and feel your spirit because there's just resonates. It's so cool. But there's so many people out there that will make so many excuses to not come to the result you came to when you were in prison and then coming out trying to get a job and can't because you're in prison. And literally, like, it gives me like shivers because I think about how many excuses I make for not doing things, and there's really no excuse when you think about what you've went through to get to where you are. So along this path, what are some of the most valuable lessons that you've learned about real estate investing?
The number one thing that people think is you need money. Yes, it's true to be in this real estate game in a way, but I've gotten to where I'm at by, like I say, and I wrote it in my book too. My path was, I was able to learn how to leverage other people's money and other people's time, which was borrowing the money from the bank. And then I'm not building the houses. I'm leveraging the experts that can build the home, right? So I have a team of contractors, subcontractors that I manage, or my project manager manages, and the projects run themselves, right? Yes, I have to have some phone calls and stuff, but my time, my freedom, I got my freedom back, Ty. It's crazy. And by leveraging, and that's one of the number one things that I learned about myself too is another thing. I'm sorry about that. Is my mindset wasn't there, and a lot of us grew up in the mentality of we had to go work for somebody because that's what they teach us in school. They never taught us about leveraging credit in school. They taught you to go you want to go become a chef or mechanic, then you go to some type of trade school or, become an employee, right? And never to become an entrepreneur or do what you want to do. And then I love the crab in the bucket mentality, right? When you yourself want to go and do something, but your parents, your grandparents, your friends, your family, they want to pull you back down because they're not at the level that you're at. And then they want to pull you back down. And it's not because they hate you. It's just because that's all they know, right? So when you start reaching out and becoming successful, and they're like, now they're no longer there in your life, They think they call it high maka maka, now that you're better than them, and which you're not. But when you become successful, now you turn around, most people like myself turn around and try to help others to do the same thing that got me successful. So, but it's really mindset and changing the way that you think to be able to, and then also hanging around people that understand or who are experts that can get you to where you want to go faster.
I love that. I love that your teachings aren't, that they're not tactical things. I love that the things you've learned the most are all mindset, and because that's what it really comes down to. It really comes down to believing in yourself, believing you can do this. A lot of people, to your point, and I'm on a business credit financing show, right? So a lot of the people that come on here and want to, or a lot of our audience that is interested in investing in real estate, they have that same barrier of thinking they can't get the money to invest. So what are some of the best strategies you've taught and that you teach to help people use OPM, other people's money, to be able to get into real estate investing?
Man, it's so crazy. Like I was saying earlier, people think you need the money, but like all you need to do, like the number one thing is get good at analyzing deals or finding deals. And deals can be right in that building you're in. You can talk to the property manager and say who's late on their payments, right? Who's not paying, their HOA fees, or looking like they're going to be in default. So that could be an opportunity to go talk to the owner and see if they'd be interested in selling, right? Driving around to work, driving to and from work. You can find rundown homes, right? Boarded up windows, tall grass, broken down cars, look like the house needs work. You pull up to the house, get the address, you put the address on this website called truepeoplesearch.com. You find out who the owners are, and then sometimes they give you the phone number. You can call them up, and come. Don't call them and say, cause trouble. Just call, hey, look, I found your information online. I stopped by your house. Look like, you need some yard work. What's going on? Try to do it the Pono way, right? The righteous way. And that's where you be able to find these opportunities that you don't need none of your own money. All right. Once you get lock up the contract to purchase a home, you can take that contract and sell it to another investor who would give you a fee for that opportunity, right? So it's like you're selling paper and you're creating money out of nothing. But meaning, you have to spend some time to get the contract, and then sometimes that contract can be anywhere from $5,000 to upwards of like $60,000. You do that 10 times in 1 month. Now you can get a down payment for apartment building here in Hawaii, because you know how much our apartment buildings are, or a condo unit or a studio. It's like $250,000 to $350,000. But just so you know, like, people thinking you don't need money, but you just need to put in the time and find opportunities, because the money will follow.
I love it. And I appreciate that, because again, I think it helps people get past the number one objection of finding money. And I like that you put the importance on finding deals, because you're right. Like, if you find the right deal, there's plenty of people out there that would want to even invest the money or give you the money to be able to do it if you find the right deal. Besides driving around or looking in your immediate area, what are some of the other ways that you think are the most valuable to be able to find the right kind of deals?
Yeah, I mean, it's relationships. Really, this is a relationship business. So a lot of times, if you build relationships with realtors, your family or friends, they might have, a family member that, might want to sell their property. So that's one way you can find opportunities. There's also, nowadays you got AI. AI is so crazy, where you can hire, VAs to go out there and say, you give them information on, okay, I want to invest in this area, and then they'll give you a list. Or you can go to, like, if you have a relationship with a realtor, you can get a thing called a farm list from a title or escrow company, right? So say I'm in Waianae right now. All I got to do is go ask a realtor to get me a farm list from an escrow company for people who own properties here in Hawaii, but out of state owners who have 50 or 60%. You can dial it down to your search criteria for your farm list, which is and can be free, because the agent uses that escrow company. And that list, you take that list, and all you got to do is make sure you do the work, right? Or you get a VA to do the work for you, which is cold call them or door knock, go to their door and have somebody door knock on them. And then you just ask them the simple question: hey, I see your property over here on, Hukilau Street, or whatever you want to call the street, and you interested in selling? And that's pretty much it. Like, and then also other ways that I have worked with homeowners or people who are in distress. Like, first thing we want to do is try and help them out first. Aloha first, right? And in most cases, they waited so long that they're in a position of they they cannot cover the mortgage. So what happened was we usually take over, depending if they have a mortgage on it. So we do like a owner finance or um, a subject to deal, which we get it all under contract and agree upon how we can help the homeowners. And we go in, we fix it up, and then we sell the home or keep it, rent it out, and then we make sure that we take care of that homeowner by either giving them upfront money, and then or also in the back end. So creative strategies.
Yeah, and I love that. And you've hit on some really major points, because what I've heard you say is, first of all, if you can find distressed properties, find it. If you could find a distressed property where the owner is distressed in some way, behind on their mortgage, not able to pay, behind on HOA deals, there's a motivated person there. And then if you find somebody that's even out of the area, especially if you combine those two, that's probably the perfect recipe for finding the right property. Is somebody that's just in distress and doesn't really care as much because it's not their primary home, it's out of the area. If you can find those, it sounds like that's gold. From that point, what do you do? Are you into long-term rentals? Are you into short-term Airbnb rentals? Are you into fix and flip? Do you have to kind of be into all of them and kind of judge the property to see where when it fits? Like, what's your advice there?
Yeah, Ty, that's a great question. And we call this what we call as investors, a smart investor is looking at all exit strategies, right? So when we're looking at an opportunity, we're looking at first, if it's a distressed property, number one for me is, this is how my personal way and how I teach other people, is to take care of the families first, because you never know their story, right? And you find out their story when you meet them and you talk with them, and you find out their situation, their pain point, what's going on, and you try and help them first, right? And if you can help that family save that home, how good would that make you feel, right? Or if you cannot, you put them into hands of someone that can help. And if not, what we do is we lay out all their options right here. If you do this, you do this, you do this. But you got to make the decision. In most cases, they cannot even cover it because they're so distressed that they're going to lose. So with us, we try to make it to where they walk away with something, right? Some type of funds to be able to get back on their feet, to either go into a rental or something that will help them out and not just kick them to the curb, which we see a lot of people that doesn't have that aloha mentality or help, to help people happen here in Hawaii. There's a lot of people that take advantage of people. So kind of getting a kind of refresh what I'm talking about. That's why they call me Fuzzy too, Ty. Where I'm heading on this conversation, give me the question again. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I think you've done a good job. The question really is, do you do long-term rentals, short-term rentals, fix and flip? Like, how do you know and identify the purpose of the property, or are you all in on just one of those channels?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm talking. Sorry.
By the way, I'm glad I remembered, because like you, I almost forgot the question I asked.
I went into space. Okay. So yeah. So exit strategies. I'm back on track now. Forgive me. So yeah, when you're looking at an opportunity, you look at all the exit strategies. You're gonna either fix and flip it, buy it and hold it, do the burst strategy, refinance and rent it out, or just look at all of that. But yeah, and then which one best suits what you want to do in the end result. I kind of reverse engineer. Like my bread and butter is brand new builds. There's no like hidden stuff. Right. So I go out and I find raw land. I, clear the land and then put the house in, and I build it. And then I either flip it. I know my end result number because I've already done my homework. I know how much lots are selling for. So what I do is try to get it at a discount. And then my build cost is at a amount where it's cheaper than retail. So when I go to sell it, there's a buffer, right? A profit buffer. And it has to be, not significant, but enough to where if there's mistakes or unforeseen stuff, I can still get out of it, right? And then also, if the market changes, I still can rent it out and cover my costs, refinance, and pay some of my debt off to my private money lenders or the hard money company. Um, and then as far as long term in Hawaii, because the cost is so expensive to get the rent and the property values don't match. So it's not like um, I would say cash flowing state. It's an appreciating state, right? So you gotta find opportunities that make sense. So when I find properties that I want to cash flow and hold for long term, I got to get it at a deeper discount to be able to make that cash flow, to be able to rent it out, or I have to build it cheaper or fix it up cheaper to match that cash flow. Or a lot of people, what they do is they know that there's going to be a new mall or school being built in a neighborhood. They buy at, kind of a higher price, but they know the value is going to go up. So it appreciates in value over time. And then eventually what's going to happen is the house is going to be worth more. And then they'll cash flow eventually.
You think one of the best strategies, if possible, is to get land and build?
To me, is one of the to me it's one of the best ways. Like it it's just clean, and but the thing is, you gotta understand that market, that where you're going to be building. You got to know the numbers of what lots are selling for, because as an investor, you're trying you don't want to be buying properties at retail, right? Because then you're going to be behind it might not pan out. Because if you buy a lot at retail, now you got to build the house cheaper to be able to make a profit, or for it to make sense, for the numbers to work out. So number one is finding opportunities where in Florida, some of my students, they bought properties at the tax deed auction online from Hawaii, right? You can go online and the counties do over the counter OTCs, over the counter. You can buy properties from you just call them and say, hey, you got properties for sale, and you can buy them straight from the county, right? And these are houses for I think she bought it for 60 or 80 grand in Florida, somewhere in Florida, right? And then she flipped it to another developer, and they bought it from her for a fee. And then in Hawaii, we have tax deed auctions that we can buy the land at a cheaper price. So sometimes pennies on the dollar, lots that are selling for 70 grand, you can buy them for 20 or 30, which is insane. Now they don't teach us this. My grandparents never taught us this. My parents never taught us this. But because I surrounded myself around people like yourself, who's in the industry, who who are smart with finances and how to create wealth. And now it's such a blessing to be able to talk to you and teach other people, right? It's spreading the word and showing it's possible.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative of you. And, it's interesting because the reason I asked you that question is that one of my really good friends kills it, man. 7 figures a year on Airbnb. And, this is what he does. He buys land, he builds homes for the purpose of short-term rentals, and he just freaking kills it. He makes $250,000 a year on a property. Then 2 days ago, I asked one of my really good friends, a real estate agent, called him at 8 o'clock at night. I said, hey, man, what's happening in real estate right now? Where do you think to put the money? He said, here's the areas I'm looking at. You buy the land, you build the house, you sell the house. And he was talking about the money you can make. You're the third person this week that has brought up the exact same thing. And so I just know to pay attention to stuff like that. I have three super smart guys in real estate space all to say the same thing, that one of the best ways right now from Hawaii to all Florida, right? Everyone on opposite sides of not the world, but close to, are saying the same thing. That coming
Yeah.
in and finding the right property, the land, building, and then selling it, renting it. You gave multiple different options. Maybe one of the most cost-effective ways to be able to make money with real estate. So where can everybody go that's on here right now to find more about you? I know you have an event coming up in November. You've got an event coming up pretty soon. So I want you to talk about that. And I want to get this released before that event. And then people that are from the islands or people that are not, what can they do to be able to get more information and insight from you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, HIFUZZ, Fuzz. That's Hawaii Fuzz, right? On Instagram, we also have a YouTube channel called Investing in Hawaii or Investing in Hawaii. I also have my website, which is fuzzyjardine.com, that I'm kind of working on at the moment. And then we have HUI Mastermind, HUI Mastermind.com. It's our coaching program out here in Hawaii, where we teach everyday local people from Hawaii who moved away also to learn how to invest in real estate and build generational wealth and create financial legacy and leave something back for their ohana. And then recently I just finished my book, thanks to my partners who was able to help get, because I'm not, I'm an author now, but it's like getting this by myself on paper was a challenge. So I had to have a team help me write this book called Priced Out of Paradise on Amazon. It's 99 cents on Kindle. It's been a blessing, bro. This book right here has so much information and abundance of information to be able to help anyone, either from Hawaii and not, how to invest the Pono Way, which is the right way to invest, not only in Hawaii, in Florida, in wherever, making sure that you look at the people first before the profits.
I love that. Fuzzy, thanks for coming on with us today.
Yeah, mahalo. I appreciate you and look forward to it. One of my best partners, they live in Florida. I'm not sure where, but they invest with me, and we've been doing brand new builds together for like 12 years now. So crazy.
That's cool, man. Well, you're ever out this way, you got to look me up. I've got a really cool amphibious seaplane. I like flying around, and I'll take you flying around. And then we have 0 waves, but I'll take you to the other coast where they have a 1 to your 12 wave, and you could maybe teach me to surf.
Yeah, actually, my sponsors have a house out there in Tampa. They got flooded that last storm that came through, but they're good for Alex and his wife Carla. So I usually come out there to go wing foiling. I don't know if you see those guys with the wing foils.
Absolutely.
So definitely when I come to Florida, we come to Disney World with the kids and the grandkids. I'm gonna hit you up, bro.
Sounds good, man.
Likewise, if you guys come to Hawaii, let me know.
I will, and I got this talk makes me want to go back out there. I've been out there we talked before we started at 20-something years, but you live in a magnificent place.
All right. Well, I hope that helped. Appreciate you. I hope that helped a lot of people out there that would use the information.
All right. Thanks, Fuzzy. So listen, if you're watching this, a couple things I want you to do right now. First of all, go to HUIMastermind.com. He's got it on his hat. It's HUIMastermind.com. You can learn all about his mastermind. That's all designed to help people, especially that are native to Hawaii, be able to invest there. But his teachings are invaluable no matter where you are. I mean, you picked up a lot of nuggets today, and I try to highlight some of them because he literally just gave you some of the most important things in real estate strategy of what to do and how to do it right now, which, again, we're just scratching the surface of what he could share. So make sure you go to HUIMastermind.com. Make sure you also go to fuzzyjardine.com. That's Fuzzy Jardine. That's FUZZYJARDINE.com. And right at the top, you can access his Instagram. You can access his newsletter. There's a quick form that comes up. You can grab his newsletter, and there's just tons of trainings and access to information that's right there as well. He's just a giver, and that's why both these sites that we're going to, because again, to be part of the mastermind or to go to a site and learn all all the things you can learn and join and be part of his newsletter. And then also check out all the cool stuff he's got going on Instagram as well, because he's got a massive following for a reason. Just a really solid, humble guy with a phenomenal soul that is just wants to share and help change the lives of others. And if you're into that kind of person, which I hope you are, then you need to go to both places. Go to huimastermind.com, go to fuzzyjardine.com, make sure you join his newsletter, make sure you follow him on Instagram, and get some of this cool positive vibe that he's got out there, while also learning to make life-changing decisions when it comes to investing in real estate. And this is the guy to teach you how to do it. If you know anything about Hawaii, Hawaii's a pretty expensive place to be able to get real estate, right? So if this guy is able to come from prison and be able to master that, I don't know, maybe something you can learn from him. Yeah. So make sure you go and check him out, fuzzyjardine.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care. Have a great day.